SuperTalk Mississippi Media production.
State Treasurer David McRae is returning record amounts of money to Mississippians, whether it's through the College and Career Savings Program or the hundreds of millions in unclaimed money awaiting your claim. Treasurer David McRae says get your applications and claims in today. Treasury.ms.gov.
I'm Steve Azar, and I'm on the other side of the microphone, meaning I'm asking the questions this time, and oh, have mercy for the airwaves. I spent 20 years in Music City, wrote and made some hits, traveled the world, and then moved my family back to the birthplace of American music and where the magnolia trees prosper. And now every time I put my feet on Mississippi soil, when I'm off the road, well, I'm at peace. On this show, it's all about hearing the stories straight from the mouths of the friends I've made along the way, their journey to success. Heck, there might be someone on, I don't even know, but you know how us Mississippi types are. We tend to take well to new company. In a Mississippi Minute, all 60 of them. I'm Steve Azar. It's just like that muddy river, moving slow. Ain't no worries, it's how life goes, baby. In a Mississippi Minute.
Hey folks, that's the voice of the one and only. Stand by, I can't tell you just yet. Visit Mississippi.org. Celebrates who we are pretty dang prophetically. And I can tell you, you need to eat your way around Mississippi. Love the commercials that Team Visit Mississippi, Rochelle and the gang over there have done a wonderful job of celebrating our chefs throughout Mississippi, finally getting Michigan love. As I've said before, what took them so long to come down south? Are you kidding me? I mean, come on, we've been using their tires for 1,000 years. So it was time to celebrate our great culinary wisdom from around our state and the arts. So amazing. Go to visitmississippi.org. Today's guest, I'm very, very, very excited about. Like I said, he just broke the record officially of the most visits on my show. A brand new part one. That's what I'm going to call it. He's an award-winning author, speaker, and Benedictine oblate, drawing on nearly 40 years of business experience and wisdom of the rule of Benedict, and also on the golf course, if I might add. He incorporates the principles of strategic mindset, stability, community, excellence, and profound hospitality into actionable tools for success. As the author of the acclaimed books, many of them include Sell Like a Monk, The Sweet Spot Where Business Strategy, Positive Psychology, and Faith Principles Converge, and Ultimate Breakthrough Planning. And his upcoming book, More Thriving, Less Grumbling, is ready to hit the shelves. His work empowers purpose-driven entrepreneurs. And that word purpose, I want to focus on today. Very important. Visionary leaders and mission-focused organizations to achieve strategic growth and long-term success, most importantly. By fostering clarity, innovation, and strategic planning, he helps create cohesive teams. We also have a fun podcast that we've been doing together on the side called Resonance, that you can listen anywhere you stream your pods, and we're also available on YouTube. It's a lot of fun doing it. So welcome in my pal, Mike Farrell. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Steve. Good to see you.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a sideways introduction, but, you know, I'm sort of looking up there, and then I'm looking away, and because I know you, you know. I know
you broke the record, huh?
Yeah, you broke the record. I'm thinking Wesley Smith was in the lead. Trent Demas at one point, my gold medal winning gymnastic friend, very long-winded, I may add, and also the tallest gymnast in history to ever win in the horizontal high bars. You know, he's a tall guy, so it was unusual to see that. He won it in Barcelona in '92. So he'll be at our Delta Soul charity golf event. Good guy, really, really good guy. Great story behind it all. And I don't think that Olympic team wanted him on it because he was a little bit of a rebel back then. And it's so funny, Mike, I think about that. Maybe we could start our conversation. You know, what makes these athletes like that tick? And by the time that I got to know him, which was way past his prime, right, and all that training, he seemed to be a very humble, quiet guy. But when I heard his story, he was very boisterous and loud growing up. got into a little trouble, and it was the opposite of everything that he may have needed to compete at that level and to compete and win a gold medal. I mean, what happens to the human being after the fact, I guess, and what changed and why does it change?
Yeah, I think that's a great place to start the conversation. I mean, I think that you really, and I've had the privilege to be around some great athletes over the years, and it's interesting, not to mention great leaders and those kinds of things, but it's interesting that somewhere along the line, something happens that creates that shift. And they begin to realize that I think it's not, and I think where the shift begins to happen is when they begin to realize that it's not all about them, but it's about those that help get them to where they are. And it's about, doing things for others. I think that's the thing that I've seen a lot of, flameouts as well. And I think that those people, those athletes, those, leaders that I've known that were all about them, that never really understood what that meant to be, the fact that you got a great team that gets you to where, and it doesn't matter. And, we can talk about golf, and golf's this one person sport, that you're not competing against somebody, at least, like you would in a team sport or anything like that. But almost every single PGA Tour player today has a team around them. Even if it's just their spouse, but they have psychology folks, and they have trainers, and they have nutritionists, and they have
obviously have their caddy, the shrink on the course. Caddy's there all day,
right? And I think you see that shift when they begin to realize that it takes a team to get to the top, not just an individual effort.
Right. That's a good point. And I think you probably develop a good bit of humility along the way when the sport is sort of over and you've gotten there, and maybe you have a family and you realize it's not all about you anymore. But I guess there has to be a considerable amount of selfishness when it comes to the effort and time it takes to get great, right?
Sure. No question about that.
You don't have all those obligations.
Right. You've obviously got to train. You've got to do all the things that you need to do to get to that level. But I think that, and what I see too often, and I know you have not only in sports, but in the music business as well, you see them hit that pinnacle, and then it's over. And then you see them crash and burn.
Sure.
You see them really get to the point where that was all it was. I mean, I refer to the song "Glory Days" by Bruce Springsteen. I mean, it's constantly reliving that past, that experience, and nothing. You never go forward. You never grow. You never move forward beyond that. And
why are you telling? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. What were you going to say? Finish.
I think that it's those people that understand that there's more than just that accomplishment. And when everything's based on the accomplishment and they don't understand there's more, that's when you see trouble down the road.
You got me a little bit nerved out because Gwen, my bride here does not have a good voice at all. When I say at all, I mean not at all. Even a pitch correcting machine does not work. It just doesn't know where to go. So, but she'll start singing "Glory Days" when I start even getting close to starting to go. Our team won the YMCA All-Star Basketball Championships back in Columbus, Mississippi, and then I scored the only touchdown to win the YMCA. And she goes, I'll just do it on purpose, just so I can hear her sing bad. But it's Glory Days. It's Glory Days every time, and I'm going like, man, this is so bad. Let's take a quick break. Mike, the Monk Guy Farrell, is my guest today. His books are out everywhere that you get books. Also, you can go to themonkguy.com and sign up for this tremendous newsletter that I get every Wednesday. Very inspiring. Visit Mississippi.org, also very inspiring. Plan a road trip to your Mississippi. It is hallowed ground, baby. I'm Steve Azar. We'll be right back.
If your next customer is searching online right now, will they find you or your competitor? If your website is outdated, slow, or hard to use on a phone, you could be losing business every day. SuperTalk Mississippi Media builds sharp, mobile-friendly websites that look great and work even better, and they're more affordable than you might think. We can drive customers to your new website with powerful radio commercials and targeted digital ads on Facebook, Google, TikTok, Hulu, and more. Call SuperTalk Mississippi Media at 601-991-2305 or visit stmmdigital.com.
Fox on Tech.
America's foreign enemies exploit viral conspiracies online, but now they are creating them out of thin air. We saw it happen in real time during the White House Correspondents' Dinner. As the event came under attack, bots surged across social media. It began with claims the attack was staged. It grew into a narrative about the White House colluding with media to cover it up. There's a clear consensus now among experts like Daniel Byman that the worst actors by far are China and Russia.
This is hard to guard against, given that so many Americans consume their news from social media.
State Department spokesperson Tommy Pigott says they have a new bureau to push back on foreign enemies using AI against Americans.
We have a lot of tools in our toolbox, but one that we're not going to use is censorship. We're going to use tech innovation. We're going to use cooperation with partners. We're going to call it out when we see it.
With Fox on Tech, Jillian Turner, Fox News.
Listen and watch all your favorite SuperTalk Mississippi shows live and on demand. Listen to tons of music. Plus, get the latest breaking news from across the state with the SuperTalk Mississippi app. The SuperTalk Mississippi app. Download the SuperTalk app on your iPhone or Android device now for free. Just search SuperTalk Mississippi in your app store on your mobile device to get everything Mississippi all in one place. The SuperTalk Mississippi app. Get it now.
Hello, my name.
Water, and we're in too deep. Yeah, we're in cold water.
Visit Mississippi.org. Melody in there somewhere. I'm going to find it. But for right now, find a road trip, plan a trip. I've taken today's guest, Mike the Monk Golf Barrel, to Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. We stayed above the golf course, above the clubhouse. And Mike saw the divine, beautiful, just gorgeous landscape that only Dancing Rabbit and Mississippi can offer. Check it out. You go to Pearl River Resort, good friends of ours over there. And I've been their brand ambassador for quite a while. And I've really enjoyed my time over there with Matt and Chief Cyrus Ben, Tim, the entire team over there. So special. And I'm grateful to be a big part of that. So I brought Mike over there to celebrate that as well and to share that. Mike was a pro golfer at one point trying to make the PGA Tour, but became a big business consultant, life coach, author of some fantastic books. Hey, Mike, how's the new book coming?
New book is coming great. I am hoping that we're going to see it by probably around, this current job that I'm working, or client that I'm working with, has slowed me down a little bit, but I'm hoping by the 1st of July. We're gonna celebrate Independence Day with a new book.
Wow. Hey, so when you put your books out and everything, like, what's your plan? I mean, you obviously are a strategic guy, and setting up a book, setting up a new record that we put out, everything sort of has its little moments that you have to sort of do. You got things to do. What do you do?
Yeah. Well, it really is, first off, just creating the awareness of the book coming. And, it used to be that I wanted to hit all the bestseller lists and all those kinds of things. And now, and especially with this book, it really is one of those things that I really want the book to speak for itself. If it hits bestseller lists, great. But I'm not that concerned about that aspect of it. But I'll create an awareness campaign, and it'll be on social media and all those kinds of places. We'll probably do a pre-order type of thing, probably 3-4 weeks ahead of time before it comes out. And then, the nice part about it is the company that I use to self-publish does all the distribution for me. So
they've got their own little mechanism, distribution.
Exactly.
Mechanism.
It'll go out to all the Amazons and the Barnes and Nobles and all those kinds of places.
Right.
And they'll do all of that piece for me. So at least I don't have to mess around with that, that aspect of it.
I'm looking at a couple of them right now to my left. Your packaging and your covers and everything very consistent.
Yeah.
And everything looks like they're the same exact size. When I went on vacation last year, I packed the 2 books of yours and got through them pretty well. And that's why I want to dive into the one word that jumped out and it stood with me. And it woken me up in the middle of the night to think about it. And am I sticking to that? Was the word purpose.
Yep.
And you drive that home. And it's almost like throw everything else away. Don't read another word. Don't do anything. If you don't have a purpose and you don't know what your purpose is,
Right.
you cannot be successful. But first of all, packaging wise, it's very tidy.
Yeah.
I guess is the
Yep.
best word. What made you decide to do it like this?
Well, and those 3 books were done by my publisher, and so they wanted the consistency. So it was edition 1, edition 2, edition 3, that kind of thing. Now the next book I'm actually self-publishing, and that one's going to be totally different. It's going to be a hardcover. It's going to be a bright orange cover with a monk and a mug of beer. And yeah, it's going to be a very different shift from the first ones that I've done.
A lot of Mississippi folks right now got smiles on their faces when they heard that. They're thinking like, meet me at the pub or the bar. We don't have we have bars here, like real bars. The word pub, I guess I was in another country. So Mike, let's talk about purpose.
Yeah.
I mean, I cannot think about anything now that comes to my attention that could be added to my plate and added to my load, right? And if it doesn't orbit around the nucleus of everything that I do, then I say no. And I feel good about it. But I didn't know to do that until I really read that book that drove that home. Which one was it? It was
Sweet Spot.
Sweet Spot.
Yeah.
So tell me about when all this came about. Is that a monk principle? And how important is it? How important is it to get that right to succeed?
Sure. Yeah. Well, for me, that idea, that word purpose has been around for a long, long time. But in recent past, probably in the last 10 to 15 years, Simon Sinek made it very popular. He wrote a book called Start With Why that really talked about purpose. And I took that and I really, absorbed that. But the interesting thing about it is when I began to lay those ideas up against the Benedictine principles, those monk principles that I talk about, purpose and stability come together really, really well because, and we've talked about this on the podcast several times, stability is this groundedness, this rootedness in who we are, what we do, why we do it. And if you don't have a clear understanding of your purpose, it's pretty hard to be stable. It's because you get pulled all over the place, and as you said, I mean, prior to you thinking about what that purpose was for you, you were reacting to requests to do this, that, and the other thing without really understanding how it fits with who you are, what you do, and why you do it. And so it really is that idea from a Benedictine principle, that idea of stability. Purpose gives us those roots. It allows us to be stable so that when, all the winds blow and all those kinds of things, we stick to what it is we do and why we do it. And so that question of, and I go through this exercise all the time with entrepreneurs. They start a business and they want that business to be a smashing success and make all kinds of money and all those kinds of things. And so then I ask them the question, well, why did you do it? And a lot of them will say, well, just because I didn't want to have to work for somebody and I wanted to make a bunch of money. I talk about something more than purpose. I talk about a higher purpose vision. What do you really, why do you really do what you do? Is it for something greater than yourself? Is it for a cause? Is it for your family? Is it for something greater than yourself, greater than profits, greater than success, all of those kinds of things? That's where the Benedictine piece really comes in. And so understanding how that fits with this idea of what Cynic talks about is really, really important, because and there's all kinds of research that's been done on this idea of a higher purpose vision. And you see that those companies, those businesses, those organizations that are focused on that higher purpose vision almost always outperform their peers and their competitors. It's something something that drives organizations.
We're going to take a quick break in a second. I got a second to say this, though. What it's done for me is it's allowed me to look back at the business relationships. When I say business, in the music business, right? But branding, whatever it is that we do with our songs and all that stuff, film, TV, anything. And it really let me know for sure why I'm enjoying myself so much with the folks that I'm working with. And then what you don't want to be doing. So it's almost like it brings peace of mind, and it also brings a clear mind to why this is why you should be working with these people. This is why you should be doing these things for your music career. This is why. And anything that doesn't fit in that purpose, it's gone. You just need to wean off it. Yep. And you realize that, it's and in the meanwhile, you realize you're building all these wonderful relationships with the folks that you're working with. I think that's the gravy on top. That is what I've really noticed, and it's easy to work with the folks. That is, I got the song back in the day called You Don't Even Have to Try. Love is easy, you don't even have to try. Well, work is easy, you don't even have to try. Doesn't feel like work when you're working with folks you love to work with. We'll be right back. Visit Mississippi.org. I've been working with them for 9 years. Traveled over to Liverpool to drop off a blues trail marker, one of over 200, to celebrate the Beatles invasion and why they loved Mississippi and why they became who they were because of us. We'll be right back. I'm Steve Azar.
We're in cold water,
And I shall believe. $20,000 available for first-time home buyers. Hey folks, Steve Azar here. Helping is the heart of our friends at Guarantee Bank. They offer programs like the Home Buyer Equity Leverage Partnership Grant that can assist qualified first-time home buyers with up to $20,000 towards down payment and provide home ownership counseling to empower you on your journey. These funds are first come, first served. Learn more about this program and to apply now, go to gbtonline.com. Guarantee Bank, member FDIC.
From theseabrook.com. In a Mississippi Minute with Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Here I am standing over this little old town called America. Precious stone dangling off heaven's shoulder.
Steve Azar here. The birthplace of America's music is where? Let me give you guys a few seconds. Mississippi. You dang right. We are at the beginning of it all, and the whole world. Well, you'd be talking about falling on deaf ears or whatever that means. The bottom line is it'd be a pretty silent place, and it wouldn't be nearly as cool sounding if it didn't all spawn from us and our fertile Mississippi that has created the king of rock and roll, the king of the blues, the father of country. We can go deep and we can go forever, but what a game changer for all of us, and for me particularly, that's learned so much and been inspired by so many that came before me that allowed me to find myself in an honest way. So visit Mississippi.org. Thank you, guys. Mike the Monk Guy Farrell is my guest today. Many books sell like a monk. The Sweet Spot, which is a very purpose-driven book, that word purpose, if you heard the last segment, and you're not just joining in. If not, go check it out. If you're just joining in, go check it out. We had a great little talk about the importance of purpose and stability in your life and whatever you're doing. and how that will lead to success. More Thriving, Less Grumbling is coming, and then there's Ultimate Breakthrough Planning. Those 3 books are out. More Thriving, Less Grumbling. We think it sounds like July is a target. We're going to hold him to it. Hey, so Mike, I was doing a little research today as I was preparing for you. To hire a consultant who operates on monk principles, focus on service, selflessness, mindfulness, and high ethical standards. You need to interview them on how they blend internal discipline and external results. And I sort of was searching out just some things maybe I've never asked you before. But when I checked that out and Googled it, when it told me that, I was like, that's Mike. That's every inch of Mike and these conversations we've had. But the beauty of what we get to talk about is you're like, I told Richard Berge, my friend, the other day, when I asked him a story about these great jam sessions with Joe Walsh and his brothers, Billy Joel's drummer, and was in Bob Marley and the Wailers, and his dad used to have these incredible jam sessions in Jersey in their yard back in the day, and he influenced a lot of great musicians that would go on to do great things like Joe Walsh. And every time I ask him to tell me about it, he adds a whole nother story and a whole nother level. So it's like I said, you're like my grandmother or my mom who never give me the whole recipe. It takes like a lifetime. And so you're the same way, Mike. Every time I talk to you about the same thing, I get a whole nother deeper rooted answer. So why mindfulness, first of all?
Well, mindfulness, I think that term mindfulness maybe is used and abused a little much in our world today. When I think of mindfulness, it really takes me to that first monk principle that I talk about, which is intention. Are we intentionally thinking about what we do, how we do it, how we take care of people, how we treat people, all of those kinds of things. And most importantly, are we taking care of ourselves? Leadership is interesting because a lot of people look at leadership as an external type of thing. Mm-hmm. But leadership doesn't happen until it happens internally first. It's that inner work of leadership that is so important. And that's where that idea of mindfulness or intention really comes to fruition as far as making sure that you really truly understand who you are as a person, as a leader, as a spouse, as a dad, as whatever the case may be. Understanding who you are is so critical, and taking people through that process is really, really important.
A lot different from what I first said by accident, mindlessness. A little different, which is more me, right?
Yeah, there's a fair amount of that out there.
Yeah, there's a fair amount of here, not out there and here, right here with my noggin here. That's interesting.
Get on social media for a few minutes, and there you go.
Oh, you're not lying. There's a lot of that going on. Hey, speaking of social media, see, you've thrown me a little bit. We've talked about this on our podcast, Resonance, but it's really interesting how people have to say what's on their mind immediately, and a lot of times it gets them in trouble. And I always talked about taking the Benedict, the rule of Benedict is I call it pistachio for Mississippi's sake. Takes a minute to shell the thing. You don't want to buy the ones that are already shelled. You want to work at it. But statio, right?
Statio, yep.
Statio.
Yep.
And that means what?
It's called a sacred pause.
Pause. So take a sacred pause. Take a dang minute before you say what's blast out there to whoever's going to, not the world, by the way, is not seeing it, but somebody's seeing it. And you don't want to say something that you regret. And taking the 24-hour rule, for me, we've talked about this, was a big help to realize that a lot of the things that were on my mind at the time, when they weren't on my mind 24 hours later, obviously wasn't worth bringing up in the first place.
Right.
Why are we in a hurry to do that?
Right. Well, it's interesting. I actually heard somebody speak just this morning, and one of his points was don't swing at pitches in the dirt. And as part of that, he said, don't wrestle with a pig in mud, because if you do, all you're going to do is get dirty, and the pig's going to enjoy it.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect.
And he was talking about, social media, that we react. And he's a pretty public figure, so we react constantly. And he said, it's a big challenge with social media to not react. And he didn't know it, but he was talking about Stazio this morning, because he was talking about, apparently there's an app, and I need to find out what the app is. But apparently there's an app that when you open up your phone, it makes you breathe for 20 seconds before you can do anything.
Wow. I mean, that's a little scary that it knows you're breathing.
Right. But it's that sacred pause. And while you're doing that, you're thinking about, well, do I really need to get on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or whatever it is? And that's the app version of Stazio.
Well, that's amazing. What is the need people have inside to get things out immediately? And type it and show pictures or whatever. What is that need?
Well, I think part of it, I think, stems to the fact that there's a lot of isolation in the world today. There's a lot of people that are lonely, that are depressed, that, and if we look at all the mental health numbers across the country, there's no question that those numbers certainly reflect that. And so what happens is you're in this place, maybe a little darker place. And so in order to get some of that attention, somebody posts something and you realize that, gee, I'm going to this knee-jerk reaction, I'm going to put my response to it, and maybe I'll get some attention. And oh yeah, you get attention, all right. And then it begins to escalate. Then it's, then you got the pile-on factor. You got everybody that wants to jump in and do the same thing. So, I think a lot of this, and I think social media is one of the real problems in our world today, because it is so ingrained, and especially in kids now, it is so ingrained in what they're doing that they're looking at it and saying, this is how I communicate with people. Mm-hmm. And, there's no accountability on social media.
Well, sometimes there is. Some people lose jobs.
Well, yeah,
I mean, right. Exactly. I don't know if I don't know if the company's doing it just for show and then they hire them back or whatever they do. But sometimes, and then even that part, it gets so hateful. Right. Like I'm going it's one thing being competitive. Yeah. And the spirit of competition is incredible, and you can absolutely feel like who you're up against. You've got this rivalry. You know what I mean? That's a beautiful thing. Yeah. But when it gets to the point of outright hate, and we're seeing major division absolutely in our world now, and that it breaks my heart, that's for sure. Let's take a quick break. Mike the Monk Guy Farrell, incredible author. You can go to themonkguy.com, follow him, and he also comes to a lot of places around the country to fix businesses and the folks that are in the business world. And he stays very, very busy, which is a good thing for him. And he fixes a whole lot of businesses. Talking about fixing something, I want you to get ready to fix yourself a nice little trip, a little road trip through Mississippi. And if you do the country trail markers, you're going to be able to run into me down here in front of Jim's Cafe, a big spot of my Waiting on Joe video, and my life growing up playing music down there on Washington Avenue in Greenville as a young kid. Visit Mississippi.org makes all of that happen, and very honored and humbled for sure. We'll be right back with Mike the Monk Guy Farrell.
$20,000 available for first-time home buyers. Hey folks, Steve Azar here. Helping is the heart of our friends at Guarantee Bank. They offer programs like the Home Buyer Equity Leverage Partnership Grant that can assist qualified first-time home buyers with up to $20,000 towards down payment and provide home ownership counseling to empower you on your journey. These funds are first come, first served. Learn more about this program and to apply now, go to gbtonline.com. Guarantee Bank, member FDIC.
I'm here.
When I was 16, I knew everything. Opportunity grew on trees. I'd taste them, waste them, do it all again. 10 feet tall, invincible. I fell short on principle. Rebellion, a hellion. Yeah, that was me back then.
I think I said Mike the Monk guy. I didn't say that. But Mike the Monk Guy Farrell is my guest today. Visit Mississippi.org. Please plan a road trip throughout your Mississippi. And just you'll be proud of it. And, you know, I can tell you firsthand, my guest Mike, talking to him right now, when I do our charity event every year, we're in our 15th year, we have folks that aren't just coming in for a 3-day weekend, which is my theme off my song I Don't Have to Be Meet on Monday, long weekend. They don't come in Thursday anymore and leave Sunday. We have so many that come in Wednesday, a lot that come in on Tuesday, and a handful that come in on Monday. And they're there here the whole week. They become family. They love this place. They love our Delta. They love our Mississippi. And that is the greatest compliment. And it just warms my heart and soul, pardon the pun, that every time they say they're going to come in a day early, I know I'm going to be very tired because of it, and I know we're all not going to like each other at the end of the week because we're going to be tired, but I'm also grateful that they care so much about coming and also parking a lot of their money and their generosity here that we can give throughout the community and out Mississippi and the area around here where that fits our mission statement for my foundation. And it's amazing, the generosity. Mike, have you seen leaders that you've worked with? Has there been a consistency in generosity?
Yeah, I think the ones, and again, it kind of gets back to our previous, the earlier discussion, the ones that have that higher purpose vision, generosity is part of who they are. Not only generosity from a financial standpoint, but from a time standpoint, from a being there for the people that work with them, being there for their family. Generosity is a really key, important piece of the Monk principles that I talk about, and those leaders that embrace that, I think, but I think we also have to be careful that just because somebody gives a bunch of money doesn't necessarily mean they're exercising generosity. Are you doing it for the purpose of doing it, or are you doing it just to get your name on the headlines and all that kind of stuff? As far as makes you look.
What's the reason you're doing it?
Right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen that. Unfortunately, I've seen that. I've seen one guy that was able to make it through 3 charity events, not ours, but was coming to ours, that ended up buying all this stuff at the auction and never paid for any of it. And somehow, none of them were talking to each other until after strike 3, and he was bidding up all these things.
Sure,
he didn't pay anybody, didn't pay to be there, and always had an excuse and all that. And that was just really disappointing, because it sort of fooled us all, Like, how do we get fooled at this point in our life? And then all you can do is pray for him,
Right.
Just pray for him and go. Just God bless him, He had this need or urge to maybe fit into that world,
Sure.
But at the same time he was messing things up for a lot of beneficiaries and needy children and things that the money was never made and never went anywhere, because of that. That's interesting. You're talking about that. Mike the Monk Guy Farrell, his books are The Sweet Spot, More Thriving, Less Grumbling, coming in July. Where business strategy, that's the Sell Like a Monk, The Sweet Spot, and of course Ultimate Breakthrough Planning. I'm looking at the 3 of them to my left right now. Can't wait to see and finally read More Thriving, Less Grumbling, which is coming out in July, like I said. Mike the Monk Guy Farrell, part 1, really part 41, but part 1 of the new part 1. Visit Mississippi.org. Thank you guys for allowing me to chat with my pal Mike. I'm going to go back to him. You're going to hear from him tomorrow as well. And if it's Sunday, you're going to hear it back to back. He's a Sunday sermon waiting to hear, I can tell you. I appreciate you so much, Mike. Go to themonkguy.com and follow his newsletter. Arrives every Wednesday. It will make Hump Day more doable and also more inspiring, I can tell you. And it sort of sets me up for the day and the rest of the week. Always a big part of my Wednesday mornings when I wake up. Mike, I can't thank you enough, buddy.
Always a pleasure, Steve.
Later on.
I'm Steve Azar. In a Mississippi Minute, all 60 of them, where you can take your sweet time.
Fox on Tech.
America's foreign enemies exploit viral conspiracies online, but now they are creating them out of thin air. We saw it happen in real time during the White House Correspondents' Dinner. As the event came under attack, bots surged across social media. It began with claims the attack was staged. It grew into a narrative about the White House colluding with media to cover it up. There's a clear consensus now among experts like Daniel Byman that the worst actors by far are China and Russia.
This is hard to guard against, given that so many Americans consume their news from social media.
State Department spokesperson Tommy Pigott says they have a new bureau to push back on foreign enemies using AI against Americans.
We have a lot of tools in our toolbox, but one that we're not going to use is censorship. We're going to use tech innovation. We're going to use cooperation with partners. We're going to call it out when we see it.
With Fox on Tech, Jillian Turner, Fox News.
A SuperTalk Mississippi Media production.